Добрый вечер всем. Я думаю, что меня слышно. Если слышно, пожалуйста, как всегда, если не сложно, отправьте плюсики в чате. Супер, спасибо. Давайте еще минутку и начинаем. Так что тоже кто-то начал выходить. Как-то слишком рано. Я не буду вас задерживать, я думаю, что остальные присоединятся, и я думаю, что будет запись этого вебинара. Поэтому давайте начнем. Большое спасибо всем, кто выделил сегодня время. Меня зовут Катя, я менеджер компании T-English. Мы занимаемся онлайн-обучением английского для IT-специалистов. И одно из наших направлений– это подготовка к интервью и релокации. И в рамках этого направления мы решили сделать такой вот вебинар по подготовке к получению H1B визы по интервью со sponsoring company. Я надеюсь, что вебинар будет максимально полезным. Мы старались его таким сделать, во всяком случае. И сегодняшний ведущий– это человек с очень богатым опытом в преподавании английского и IT-рекрутменте. Поэтому я думаю, что Таня, наш ведущий, сможет вам дать максимальную пользу от этого вебинара. Если у вас будут возникать вопросы, вы будете писать в чате, и у вас будет также возможность задавать вопросы голосом. Таня вам больше об этом расскажет. Вебинар будет проходить на английском. Если что-то уж совсем непонятно, тоже пишите в чат. Я буду стараться помогать Тане отвечать на ваши вопросы. Всего хорошего вам вечера и хорошего вебинара. Переключаю на Таню.
Can you hear me? I hope that yes. Okay, so let's get started. My name is Tanya, and today I'll talk with you about relocation to H1. Sorry. Okay, great. So I see that you can hear me. Great. So first of all, let me explain what H1B visa is. So H1B visa is a visa program that allows to relocate to the U.S. People from other countries. It is the primary method for employers to recruit and hire international professionals. You know that the U.S. market is. Oh, I can see that you can hear an echo. How I can work it out? I believe that there is no echo right now. I believe that there is no echo right now. Oh. Oh. Okay. Nice. Okay. Now I believe it doesn't exist. It doesn't. So you know that the U.S. market is overwhelmed with actually lacks of highly qualified professionals, and that's why U.S. Companies are more than happy to hire international employers. Mostly they are interested in international employees, right? And mostly they are interested in employees of senior level. Sometimes they also are more than happy to hire medium level employees. Regarding the H1B visa, you can actually, so first of all, it is worth mentioning that that is a lottery, right? And it takes each year, each particular year on April the 1st. So the number of applications is not restricted, and you can apply each particular year and your attention with more than one company. So the more you apply, the merrier, right? Let's move on. So H1B visa cap. Usually USCIS issue maximum 65 H1B visas each year. So usually I'm asked who are able to relocate to the US with H1B visa, if only 80 professionals or not. I may say that not only 80 professionals relocate to the US with H1B. To those people belong engineers, healthcare workers, accountants, financial analysts, lawyers, architects, and a lot of others. Also, it is worth mentioning that additional 20,000 of visas are granted for international students who already study in the US and obtain MBA or higher degree. What is more, 6,800 visas are normally reserved for citizens from Chile and Singapore. So, these number is deducted from the total visa allocation. Regarding the numbers, so each particular year, the number of applicants is different. For example, in 2016, there were 2.7 applications for each visa granted. So we never know who is going to win or not, right? And we never know how many people are going to apply. But if you do not apply, you will never win, right? So the thing is to apply and to try if you are a lucky one or not. Actually, I have the cases when a person applied with the company for 4 years or for 5 years, and actually, during that 4th or 5th year, he or she were actually successful. So you never know, and all you need to do is just to try. So the duration of H1B is usually 3 years, and usually employers are interested to have a contract with you for 3 years. Like to sign a contract. After that, your employer is able to create an extension for 3 years more, like if everything is fine from both sides. If he is happy to work with you, like your employer, and the same is from your side. So in total, you can stay in the US for 6 years with H1B. But the thing is that usually after 2 years or 1 year of successful cooperation with the US company, that company offers you to get a green card. It depends on your contract, and it depends on how you cooperate with that company. And if you have this chance, in such case, there won't be any lottery. Like your employer will just file a green card for you, and all you need to do is to wait for I believe, up to 2 years to get your green card. So next, regarding the requirements, the only and the most important requirement to be able and to get H1B visa is a bachelor's or master's degree in computer science or a related field. America is more than happy to employ people who actually are well versed and qualified in something that they do. So that is why education is really important. What should you do if you, for example, didn't have your diploma or it is not IT-related one? So if you really do not have your diploma or it is not IT-related one, all you need to have is 12 years of relevant experience in IT field. If you plus what is very important, you need to have employment verification letters. Like from each of your employer during those 12 years, you need to have these letters in order to prove your experience and to prove that you really worked during those 12 years in IT direction. If you studied at the university for several years but you haven't graduated from it, it can be a mix of education plus your work experience. So the thing is that each year of education equals 3 years of your working experience. If you have, for example, 3 years, you studied at the university for 3 years, and you haven't graduated, you need to have like at least 3 years of working experience plus your employment verification letter. You need also to have at least intermediate level of English, but this requirement is actually optional. But I believe that if you move to the US and you are going to work in IT-related, in English environment, English-speaking environment, you will definitely need to know English. And usually the companies who offer H1B visa sponsorship, they mention this requirement among all the rest. All right, let's move on. Usually I also get questions about the spouse and kids. Like if I move to the US, what my kids and spouse will do, if I can take them with me. Yes, definitely, you can take them to the US. In such case, they will have H4 dependent visa. They will be permitted to study in the US, like your wife or your husband, but they won't be able to work in the US officially. But again, I mentioned about green card. If your employer decided to offer you a green card, to provide you with a green card, then your wife or your husband will be able to work after you obtain that green card, and she or he obtains it after you get it. Okay, right now, so when can you apply? You can, usually the lottery starts on April the 1st each year. But the application process is, I would say, a bit long. Since first of all, you apply to some sponsoring company. After that, you need to pass all the rounds of the interviewing process. After that, if you are a lucky one and if you are successful to pass all the rounds of the interviewing process, some legal procedures take place. Which ones? That is evaluation of your diploma to the US standards and preparation all the documents required for application. So I would say that till March, all the companies wind up their application process and interviewing process. So I would say that even right now it is high time you applied for H1B if you really have this intention. Regarding the time frames, H1B candidates are allowed to start work in the US no sooner than October the 1st, but they are allowed to move to the US 2 weeks before then they can officially start their work. So like 2 weeks before you can move to the US, like settle down, probably have some traveling and see the US before you actually start working at some particular company. All right, let's move on. And one more important thing is that when you will know the results. Usually people know the results in June or July, but actually each particular year is different. For example, in 2017, people were able to know the results even in May. So that was really fast. It depends on the work of USCIS. So how can you apply? That is obvious. You need to find a sponsoring company. Without a sponsoring company, you do not have the chance to apply. For example, if with the green card you can apply by yourself, that doesn't work. With H1B, you need to have some sponsoring company which will provide you a sponsorship, and in that way you'll be able to take part in this lottery. All right, probably now I would like to address to you, where can you find a sponsoring company? Any ideas? You can drop your ideas in the chat for me just to see if you have any ideas. Till now I cannot see your ideas. Okay, so I will move on. I will proceed with the presentation. Usually you can find a sponsoring company with the help of professional job boards. To these job boards belong Work.ua, Robota.ua, Genie, Do. Usually you can find some recruiters who offer job opportunities there. Also, you can, like the best, I believe, medium or source to find H1B visa sponsorship is LinkedIn. There, a lot of recruiters are looking for highly qualified professionals who can relocate to the US. All you need to do is to type in your search H1B visa sponsorship, and that's it, and try to look for some recruiters. Usually there are a lot of job postings which offer this sponsorship. And last but not the least is social media. To this belong Facebook, Twitter, and even Telegram, which gains more and more popularity among recruiters and its users. So there you can find it as well. All right. I see the comment, my visa jobs. I haven't heard about it, to be honest with you. I'll Google it, but I believe that that is probably a good way to look for visa sponsorship. All right, let's move on. Now let's move to typical application process with a sponsoring company. So that is a pre-screening interview taking up to 20 or 25 minutes. It is optional, but currently this type of interview gains more and more popularity in the US. What will you be asked during this short interview? Actually, the recruiter will specify several questions related to your IT experience, like your most recent project, or probably technologies you worked with, Also, during this pre-screening interview, you can be asked some technical questions, even though it is not a tech interview. Why do recruiters do this? The thing is, they are not well versed into technological part of an interview, and they are not well versed into technologies, and they just want to make sure that you are the right candidate, and to make sure that you will actually pass that technical part of an interviewing process. The next part is technical screening. So if you are lucky around with the first part, you will move to technical screening. I want to pay your attention here to data structures and algorithms. So you need to prepare this theoretical material because that is the pain of all US-based interviews. That is very important for all the US employers to see that you have a very good technical and theoretical background. And usually candidates mention that, well, you know, data structures and algorithms, that is something I learned at the university, and I rarely use it, if not never yet, right now during my work. But actually, US employers believe that if you are able to deal with data structures and algorithms, which are quite complicated, you will be able to deal with any technical problem that you will have, or you will be able to deal with everything. The next part is HR interview. That is a short interview where you will be asked about you will be asked some behavioral questions. You'll be asked several questions, again, related to your IT background. Regarding behavioral questions, these can be tricky questions like please describe the situation where you had to take a difficult decision, or something like that. So it is very important to take here STA approach. Situation, action, result. Like you have a situation, then actions which you took actually to make everything work, and the result. For example, after all, the project was delivered on time and within the budget, or after all, everyone was happy and satisfied about the result. Also, during the HR interview, you can be asked such tricky questions like what is your dream company? What is your perfect job? What about your professional achievements or downsides? What about your hobbies? Sometimes hobbies can help you if you are a volleyball player or a football player. Sometimes they need, for example, one team member to help in their team of a company. So if they have two well-qualified professionals and they do not know whom to choose, you can have this preference. Okay, and then if you are lucky one to pass all the rounds of the interviewing process, you will start the application process. Here some legal department or special department will work with you. They will help you and they will guide you through all the application process. They will gather all the necessary documents, and they will help you to prepare everything, and the lottery itself. I see the question, what about artists? 3D. Regarding artists, the interviewing process is totally similar. You will need to pass some pre-screening, some technical screening. You will definitely have HR interviews, so everything is totally the same, like with even 3D artists. All right. The next very important question is, what should you do before starting job interview process? First of all, you need to carry out a very profound research on the company, since one of the first questions which can appear during the during the pre-screening, the first interview is, did you have the chance to make a research on our company? Did you have the chance to visit our website or to visit our LinkedIn profile? Yes, definitely. I made a research about your company. I visited your LinkedIn account, and you should speak about the company very brief, and you should be happy to speak about their company and the product, since you are that person who is interested in their company and in cooperation with that company. It would be weird if you really decide to move to the US with some company, but you know nothing about it. That is weird. Okay, the next tip is to get ready for a technical screening. So if you have the chance to prepare, please do it. I can share two most general questions which can happen during technical screening. So the first is, tell me about your most recent project. Technical interviewer will definitely ask you. And probably something like, tell me about yourself. And you will have a bunch of technical questions. You can Google them. I believe you can find them in the internet. Then the third tip is that you need to prepare for tricky HR questions. I have already mentioned several of them. For example, one of the questions can be, do you have a dream company? If you, for example, have several dream companies on your mind, like, for example, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and if they see that you are good enough even to work with them, they won't hire you because they need to know that you will stay with the company for like three years, right? But if you are good enough to work with Google or Amazon, even right now, in a year, you will definitely quit them. So there are various tricky questions, and it is great if you are prepared for them. And the last tip is to learn English, right? I have already mentioned that you will work in English-speaking environment, and it is important that your colleagues understand you and you are on the same page. All right, and we already can move to our next part of the presentation, to a practical part. But before we move here, probably you have several other questions. You can drop them in the message box for me to answer them, if you have any. All right, you will have the chance to type them till the end of our presentation, and I will be more than happy to answer all of them. So before we nail your English, I would like to brainstorm. Probably you can anticipate or guess two most usual interview questions. Can you? You can drop your answers in the message box. I'm waiting for just several seconds if you decide on something. No, I can. Yeah, why you leave your previous company? Probably they won't ask you why you leave, but they will ask you what would be the reason for you to leave your current company, and why would you like to move to the US? And you need to have a very good motivation why you want to move to the US. You might mention, like, you know, that is a country where technologies are born, or that is a country where technologies are very good developed, or they develop rapidly, and I would like to be a part of this development, so that's why I want to move to the US. So yes, that can be one of the questions. By the way, if you have some gaps, employment gaps, for example, you haven't been working for 6 months or 3 months, in such case, you will need to have some prepared answer to the question, why haven't you been employed? what was the reason for you not to work. So if you have any gaps, make sure that you have answers. And if you, for example, worked for a company for freelance, that can be the thing. Just make sure to mention this. You can also have a question like, why have you been working for some company for companies for 3 months, for 6 months, after that for a year, then again for 3 months, for 2 months? Such candidates are called jumpy. You also need to have some good clarification on regarding this issue. Sometimes companies could be closed, let's say like this. So if that is the thing, do not forget to mention that. So, all right, let's move to two most usual interview questions. So the first is, tell me about yourself. And the second is, tell me about your most recent project. Just several words on this question. So the first, if you start telling about yourself, do not start with your name. They already have your CV in front of them, so they know your name. Just answer the question who you are. For example, I am a Java software developer with 10 years of experience, and so on and so forth. So you should start like that. And tell me about your most recent project. Again, I am a Java developer with more than 10 years of experience. I have been working with this, and this, like that. Also, what is worth mentioning is that your speech should not be longer than, I would say, 1 minute, really. The reason for this is that, first of all, your interview will last no more than 1 hour. And probably your technical interview will have a lot of questions to you, and in order to see your qualification. So, like, this introduction should be short, and it should highlight the best, I would say, your skills, and everything that you did the best and that you can do the best. All right. Also, you should pay attention to the job description. I would like to notice that how many job descriptions, so many different speeches you may have. Because, for example, if the job description requires some Java, Spring, Hibernate, for example, experience with big data, do not forget, if you work with big data and with these technologies, make sure that you mention them while you are talking about yourself. So let's move on. Regarding grammar, if you talk about your current project, make sure to use present simple. Sometimes developers like to use present continuous, but at the very end, it would make some difficulties to remember about that ing all the time. So you can make it simpler. You can just use present simple. What is more, you'll be probably a bit worried. So present simple will make it simple, right? And if you talk about past projects, you can utilize past simple. Again, it is quite comfortable to use them, and you will definitely avoid various mistakes. So I believe that you all know how to work with present simple and past simple, but let's check your skills. And currently, I'm opening a test. It is a short test, number 1, and I expect you to pass it. Let me know if you have it opened. Just put pluses in our message box. If it started, actually. Okay. So you have 3 minutes just to complete it. Oh, I see that you successfully passed it. Okay, we are waiting for 3 more participants which have not finished the task yet. Just 2 more minutes. Try to wind up, and we will go on. Those people who have already passed it scored 7 out of 7. That is really great. Several passed 3 points. Let's have 3. Okay, 1 more participant. I believe you remember that with past simple we have such words marked as yesterday, the day before yesterday, last week, last month, and we use either the ending the ending ed. In affirmative sentences and in questions we use did. All right, I believe we can continue our presentation. So, if you want to talk about something you started doing in the past, continue doing it for some time, and you are still doing it, we should use present perfect continuous. And it is usually used with such word markers as for and since. Where can we apply this tense? Like if you started working as a Java developer in 2010, you continued working as a Java developer for example, 8 years, and you are still working as a Java developer, you can utilize present perfect continuous. I have been working as a Java developer for 10 years, right? Or I have been working as a Java developer since 2010. Here you should utilize such auxiliary verbs as have or has, plus been, plus the verb, and the verb should contain ing to show that that is continuous action. Here you have several examples. I have been working as a Java developer for 10 years, and I have been working as a Java developer since 2013. One more example. I have been acting as a team lead for 2 years. It means that you started working as a team lead 2 years ago. You have been working as a team lead for 2 years, and you are still a team lead, right? So that is continuous action. Again, let's move to the schema. That is auxiliary verb have, has, plus been, plus the verb with ing. And I suggest you to complete a task. By the way, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat if something is not understandable or you have something to ask. So one more test is for present perfect continuous. Let me start it. So task number 2, and I have already started it. Again, you have 3 minutes or 4 to complete it. Don't forget that with he, she, it we use has then. With all the rest we use have. Okay, we are waiting for 2 more participants to finish the task. All right, so now I see that everyone has already finished. One more thing is that like where can we use present perfect continuous? It can be a good answer to the question, how long have you been working as a, for example, C# developer? I have been working as a C# developer for 5 years. Or how long have you been working as an IT specialist? I have been working as an IT specialist since 2010. All right. Next. I have already mentioned that 2 words can be used in this sense, 2 word markers. These are for and since, but we should distinguish where we should use for and where since. So pay your attention to for. For is applied when we are talking about a period of time. For 2 days, for a week, for 10 minutes, for a long time, and so on. While since is used to speak about some precise moment in the past. Since last year, since Monday, since 3 p.m., since the beginning, and so on. So I have one more task prepared for you to work with these 2 words, for and since. So once again, for is used for a period of time, and since is used to talk about a specific moment in the past. I am opening task number 3. Again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to drop them into the message box. I'm starting task number 3. I encourage you to start it. There you would need just to use either for or since to insert either for or since. Maxim, you are doing your best. You have 6 out of 7. Great. Svetlana, you are also awesome. Okay. Unfortunately, we cannot see all the participants who started. I'm waiting for 2 minutes more. So you are all pretty good with for and since. Great. I want to mention that all 10 persons who have already completed scored 6 out of 7. So that's nice. Okay, I believe we can move to the presentation and stopping this task. Good. Now we are moving to the vocabulary section. Before you start interviewing process, you need to have a very strong CV to share it with the sponsoring company. So I strongly suggest you to review your CV and to add all the important details and all the technologies you worked with recently, because it really matters. And again, how many job descriptions, so many CVs highlighting your skills you can have. I also suggest you to add some adjectives which will make your CV even better. So if you talk about your experience, it can be hands-on, extensive, broad, considerable, proven, wide. For example, I have hands-on experience in JavaScript or AngularJS, meaning you currently work with JS or Angular. Then, if you talk about expertise, it can be extensive, considerable, solid. I have solid expertise creating C# solutions. You can also use such noun as knowledge. Knowledge can be in-depth, solid, profound, vast, deep, extensive, practical. I have practical knowledge of Scrum, but to be honest with you, the word knowledge isn't very strong, so you can apply it to such part of your CV or to such technologies where you are not very good in, like where you just have knowledge, but you probably do not have practical experience. So make sure not to use it incorrect. Then understanding. You can have thorough, good, or excellent understanding of how the processes are going on or something like that. Then you can be highly skilled in something, and you can have good insight into, again, JavaScript or Angular or any other technology. Here we have a question. Could you please provide a link to these slides? What do you mean here? You cannot see them? I want to let you know that at the very end of our presentation and after our presentation, you will be able to have a link to the webinar. So each of you will have the chance to review it, to see the slides. All right, then we move to the verbs. You can develop a project from scratch, like from the very beginning. That is very highly valuable in IT sector. You can take an active part in something, in development, in deployment, in integration. Then you can successfully or effectively deliver something. You can considerably or significantly enhance an application or whatever. Then you can significantly or considerably improve some part of application, and you can effectively manage a team or the junior developers, like this. All right. Also, I want to pay your attention to that. You need to speak only about yourself. You should use I all the time, but not we, not my team, or my team and I, because at the very end, your interviewer will ask you, well, you know, so what was your part? What you actually did during that presentation, during that during the work on application. So make sure to talk only about yourself and use I all the time. Good. Why, by the way, do we need these adjectives before the verbs? First of all, they make your CV better. Usually, when recruiters make and do their magic on your CV, they definitely add these adjectives. So don't be lazy and take time to work on your CV. Secondly, they actually underline and highlight your skills, your experience, and sometimes they really matter. All right. And if you want to talk about your skills can be excellent, good, for example, communication and interpersonal skills. Then you can have strong analytical and problem-solving skills. You can have strong leadership skills. If you are a senior developer and you actually have this experience of managing a team, then you can have organizational excellence. You can be a team player. By the way, usually you can have such a question. Are you a team player or an individual contributor? So you may say it depends on each particular project, and I can work both as a team player and an individual contributor. And you can also have the ability to act independently as well as a part of a team. That is something that I mentioned. Usually these phrases are put at the very beginning of your CV. I have excellent communication skills, interpersonal, and so on. All right. Good. So we are moving to the final part of our presentation. You are going also to pass one more task, which is connected with the vocabulary. So I'm starting the task. You can open it. We will see how good you are at vocabulary part. Again, I encourage you to start the task. Don't forget that in 5 minutes we will end the webinar, and you still have time to type the questions which you have on your mind. Probably regarding H1B or anything that you would like to know about it, which probably I haven't mentioned. Usually standard phrases really work, but if you have something better on your mind, take your time to be creative. Okay, we are still waiting for 2 more participants to finish the task. Okay, I am ending the task, and we are moving to the final part. So one important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence is preparation. So make sure to prepare for various interviews before you apply for H1B visa sponsorship, or before you apply to any particular company. If you have time to prepare, take your time to do that. That is important. And thank you for your time. Also, as I have already mentioned, we will share this webinar with you, the link to the webinar. And we'll be happy to cooperate with you in the future if needed. Thank you for your time, and see you. Bye-bye.